Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television as well, Channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's local in North Alabama. And Abundance Television, we are syndicated. You can find us worldwide on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, Net News Network.net. And I got to say, this is a disclaimer about the podcast. If you get your feelings hurt really easy, don't even go there, okay? Because I promise you that I can't believe I'm in the midst of all these talk show hosts. They are wonderful. And I'm going to tell you what, they do believe, even if it hurts everybody's feelings, they don't care. They just go ahead with whatever's happening in the world. And so speaking of which, I have my very, very good friend here, DeJoly, with me. And you know something? You have got me intrigued on foraging. I mean, I want to know more about it. And if we can stop having so much rain, I want to go to your place. I want to see what in the world you're doing.
Well, I do odd things. I'm not an expert at foraging, but I do know some things.
Well, you got to be careful because, and you got that mastered, because I wouldn't know what to get. I might get something that's poisonous. So
well,
how do we know?
Yeah, I mean, it takes, I have what's called a Picture This app on my phone, and I can pull it up to find out if something is edible. Mm-hmm. But of course, at some point in time, we're not going to, it could be that the internet goes down and I don't have service, but if I can learn fast, I can, Mm-hmm. So I brought something today that you might have on your property somewhere. It's called lamb's quarters.
Lamb's quarters.
Mm-hmm. It grows up pretty tall. I mean, this is just a little. It can grow pretty tall, and it's one of the most densely nutrient-rich plants. That's kind of quote wild weed out there. So if you have it, they grow it. They try to cultivate it in several countries, and mostly it's a plant that you find in India. They eat it there as they have different dishes that you can use, but we eat it here as part of a salad. I mean, because you can fix it. There are two things that it's related to. One is spinach. It's it's related to spinach, and it's trying to remember the other thing. And we
know Popeye the Sailor Man made it. I mean, he could actually beat up Bluto by eating spinach.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so it's a nice, rich weed. I don't call it a weed because I use it in my salads, and I can put it with spinach and just fry it up just like I do my spinach, put garlic and butter. And
how does it taste? What kind of a taste it got?
It's kind of like, it has kind of a spinachy taste. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It isn't bitter or anything like that, and you really hardly even notice the flavor of it when it's in a salad or something like that. So it adds to it, but mainly I like it because of the rich nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, as long as it's not bitter or yucky tasting, I'll eat it.
Yeah. that's how I am too.
Yeah,
I'm all into it.
Yeah. Well,
so
we were talking before.
Tea out of it?
What?
Can you make a tea out of it?
You can. Yeah, it's you can pretty much make a tea out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
You just dry it, or you don't even have to dry it. Like I have wild things in my yard, including mint that's, totally out of hand. And I just pick it and make a tea with it right as it is without having to dry it and all that. But if you want it for later, want it for winter, these can be dried. These leaves are just like any other leaf that can be dried and turned into a tea. So in the middle of winter, when you're feeling kind of blue and you don't, you're feeling kind of, I don't know if I'm going to get a cold.
Green. Yeah.
I want something green. You can just pull it up out of your jars of tea that you dry in the summer, and make a nice hot tea with it. Mm-hmm. Also, it's there are things that you can use, like you were talking earlier about lamb's ears. And lamb's ears can be used for a lot of different things, but they can be used as a poultice for sores to get the infection out and that kind of thing. Very soothing. What were you saying that it was used for?
Well, I was actually at an event through the Master Gardeners program. And so I was looking at lamb's ears. I just like the touch of it. It just kept touching it, And I was
Yeah.
going to buy some and then wound up buying a bunch of stuff and forgot to buy it. Well, I'm going to get some. And so this lady walked up I had class with, and she said, you can use that for toilet paper if we ever get the toilet paper shortage again. She said she's growing it all over her yard.
Yeah, I have it all over my place too. I like it a lot. It's very soft and, it's just kind of like a cuddly little plant, but it gets big and big and big. It spreads like crazy. It's lovely.
Be careful what you use out in the woods for toilet paper, by the way.
Well, yeah, that's true. You can. It's, but who's going to go running up to the plant and pull a leaf off and then go hide in the woods and do their thing? I don't know if I want to do that.
We're not there yet. We could get there.
No, we're not there yet. And I don't know that we're ever going to be there, but there are lots of things to learn from foraging.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I just love it. How would you describe foraging?
Well, for me, it's trying to get the most knowledge I can about the plants and the woods and stuff like that there are out there. Mm-hmm. And then you go and you just kind of listen and look and wait for something to appear, basically, because if you're looking for something, you're not going to find it. But if you kind of know what you're looking for, then for me, foraging is a way to, I guess, appreciate the growing things on my land. Mm-hmm. I'm not into foraging because of survival, because it's not enough to survive on. But you can find the roots of most plants are very edible, even the wild things in the ground. Some of them you pull them up and they look like carrots, and others, like I have turmeric growing here, and if I pull it up, it's got like thousands of bulbish kind of things on it that, they're
oh, I love turmeric.
I have turmeric there. And, but I mean, for me, foraging isn't about survivor, stuff. It's just an appreciation of what I have on the land.
Mm-hmm. My grandmother used to say, because I would, she's just flowers everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so I would say, well, there's flowers out there. Like driving down the road, I would say, there's some flowers right there. And she'd say, well, they're wildflowers. And I would say, well, what's the name of those? And she used to always say this, and I thought and it stuck with me. She said, you know what? She said, weeds are just flowers that don't have a name yet.
That's right. That's right. This app that I have really goes into a lot of detail. I had thought that I had an avocado plant because when I pulled it out of the compost pile, it was like huge ball on the end, which looked like the avocado seed. So I put it in a pot to grow it further, and apparently something else grew with it. And it turns out that it isn't an avocado at all. It's a larger form of impatiens that has a brilliant red flower on it. That's a nectar flower that like hummingbirds would like. Mm-hmm. And any bird that can reach in and get that, and pollinators, it brings pollinators. So I was very happy because it's about 3 feet tall, mm-hmm. and now it has red flowers on it, and it's gorgeous. But I thought, I wonder if that. So because when I first took the picture of it with this app, it said it was avocado.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you rescued it, so now you got something of beauty out there.
That's right. It was absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. So
I wanted to mention to everybody, if you have a question for DeJoly, I send my email address right there. It's Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. And you got a question, and this is from Andrea. So let me get it. I've got it handy right here. So Andrea said she would like you to go into a little bit more detail on mushrooms. The last time, remember, you were on the show and you were talking about mushrooms and how to stay away from. How do you know which ones are bad and which ones are good?
Well, I was shown that at one time, a long time ago, about the underneath side of a mushroom. If their panels are a certain direction or a certain size or a certain shape, then you can either eat them or not. I'm still in that stage of having to take a picture and ask somebody, because I know that chanterelles grow here on my property, and I love those. I know what they look like, you know. But generally, the brighter colors are not edible. They're poisonous. They're toxic.
Oh.
Yeah, like the red ones and the bright yellow ones and that kind of thing. You just have to look underneath to see which way the fan kind of things are going. I can't remember what the name of those things are, but in general, you can find them either on the trees, because the turkey feathers, that's what they generally are called. The turkey feather mushrooms are on the bark of trees, and you can also find shiitakes if they're wild in your area. Some people have to basically spray or what do you call it? Cultivate their oak logs, and poke holes in it and plant this goop. I'm going to call it goop because it's really just like you have to paint it on the log, and then the shiitakes will grow. But some places they grow wild. So I'm not really familiar with a huge number of mushrooms, because I know which ones not to eat, but I don't know all of them that are around here. So I can't go into a lot of detail for her other than what I just said.
But that means a lot right there. So the best thing to do, and I've got this app you were talking about, the picture app, and it is a good one.
Yeah.
And
although I can take, I have to say not everything's correct. I can take a picture of one thing and 5 minutes later take another picture of it, and I get two different names. So, or, like I remember the wild marigolds that I gave you, and you planted them and they got really nice and big. Well, I planted those myself, and I ended up getting tomatoes.
How funny. And I've still got those seeds. So I'll tell you what I did. So I went on ahead and got a few and made seeds out of the plants I got from you.
Oh, good. Absolutely. Great.
And so I got more. And so I had some, I don't know if a bird ate some and pooped it somewhere, but there's some that came up in the yard. So I went on ahead and dug those up too and put them around the garden.
That's great. That's great. I may have to get some from you, because apparently the seeds I have are not either that or whatever's in my compost is too strong for the seeds. And it's overpowering, because I use, of course, compost, but I put my vegetables in the compost. And so I'm getting a lot of tomatoes this year, and I'm not a real tomato fan.
I am. I'll trade you my marigolds with tomatoes.
Okay. I'll that's a deal.
Okay. Half the show is already gone. It goes by really fast. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park, and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0.
The best sleep just got even better. Whether you have a My Pillow or not, you need to get the brand new My Pillow 2.0. Call or go to mypillow.com now. Use your promo code, and for a limited time when you buy one, you'll get a second one absolutely free.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Good afternoon. We're back. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. Thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio. My name is Donna. Again, thank you so much for watching. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. DeJoly is with me right now. Now, she is an author and a speaker. You need to mention to folks how they can find your work. It's life-saving. It really is.
Well, my books are at Amazon. I have written 3 books, and they are not about gardening. And I would like to talk about that at some point. but they can be found on Amazon. Just look me up. My name is on the screen here, DeJoly Labrier. And I don't get as much traffic on my website as I used to, so I have basically taken it down. So if they want to reach me either by Facebook, look my name up, Amazon, look my name up.
There you go. We're talking about foraging, and I mentioned the word tea. Apparently, I do have some English in me. As a matter of fact, my roots do go back to England. I love tea of any kind, and like you mentioned before, you can make a tea out of anything. I had mentioned to you a few shows ago. My brother and I, there was a time, I don't know what happened. I guess because we played out in the dirt all the time, we would get raisins. And they were around our arm area. And so my parents took us to the doctor, and, they give us salve and stuff like that, and just never fixed it. So a neighbor said, you got peach tree. Get some small peach tree limbs, break them up into bits, make a tea out of it, give that to them. That was the most awful tasting something you've ever had. So they didn't put anything with it. No honey, no nothing. So we drank that. Do you know that got rid of those raisins? They never came back.
What are raisins?
They were big kind of sores. They were just big sores that came. It was around our arm area, and then eventually got to being on our legs and what have you too. And the doctor called them raisins.
So what is it caused by?
He said it could be playing something outside did it. And so our parents said, yeah, they stay outside all the time. We would just play in the sun. I mean, we just This is back in the day when kids wanted to play outside. There was nothing else to do.
Yeah, and you could touch just about anything and get something.
We're playing with dogs and cats and, stuff like that. Neighbors' dogs and cats, whatever, who knows. And so both of us we were just eat up with these things. And the peach tea did it.
How about
that? Now you had to get the skinny limbs, and put the leaves in it. But I'm going to tell you something else. And this is a touch of heaven right here. I wish you could smell this. This is blueberry tea. It is awesome. And so what this is dried blueberry leaves. That's what that is. And it doesn't take much now. I use maybe a tablespoon of this in the morning. I boil it in water. And so this is what I use. We drink vinegar. And I use this for the water portion of this little tonic we make each other every morning. So it's probably, because we use these 2 little glasses, about 3 ounces, I would say, is what these glasses are. And so I make enough of this to mix it with the vinegar and with the honey and my cinnamon. And the kitchen just smells like heaven. So
anything blueberry would be great.
I love this stuff. I mean, this is just great. But what you can do, I found it does better when you make tea. And I want your opinion on this as well, because you're a tea maker. So if I put it in a microwave and dry the leaves, it seems like it dries it too much.
Yeah.
And I used to do that. I'd rather
you have to understand the mechanics of a microwave. What microwaves do is it acts on the fluids in whatever food you've got. So it will dry out, yes, but it'll over dry because you still need that natural fluid in the tea, the leaves as they dry. Otherwise, you just
it takes the flavor out.
It disintegrates the leaves, which have the flavor in them, and the berries.
Now you can do just the leaves, but I like putting berries in there too. And there aren't that many berries. I mean, there aren't that many, just enough to make it taste good. And the aroma, when you're making tea in the kitchen with your own tea leaves, the aroma is just, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you just mentioned you can make a tea basically out of anything.
Pretty much anything that's not toxic, you can. I mean, if you want to make tomato tea, you can take the leaves off of a tomato. Never
thought about that.
Yeah, you can, anything that you can dry, you can make a tea out of. And for me, I have mint growing all over, my garden area. I've got it contained, but it often jumps the container. It does. As mint will. And So I just go out and I just pick it without drying it and make tea out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you can also use mint for brushing your teeth, that kind of thing. You can just crunch it up and make it that way, and then swish it around in your mouth and use your toothbrush to brush it off.
I'm very much like you when it comes to foraging or using natural products. It's not necessarily, that I think we're going to be out of all these products, which I think we could, we actually could. I like it because I know what's in it. I get really nervous now buying products. What's in it?
I think that it's a good rule to only eat things that have one ingredient.
If you cannot pronounce the ingredient, don't eat it. I mean,
if it's wrapped in plastic, don't eat it. That's why. If it's a processed food, the best bet is not to eat it, unless it's like bread that is organic and that kind of thing. But I really don't like plastic wrappers either. So I also recycle. So, I'm really not a hermit that lives in the woods and only eats the stuff that's on the property, that kind of thing. But I get out and I'm social. but I do like to appreciate what the Creator has put on my property.
I do too.
Foraging or growing odds and end things here, I like doing that.
But we have to know what grows in our area. I mean, I would love to have a producing banana tree. I love bananas, but that's probably not going to ever happen.
Well, I had, I guess maybe a year or two ago, I had banana trees, and they grew and they didn't ever produce, but they were always kind of pretty, right? And this year they're gone. They're gone.
Oh, well, then I
have a little piece that's coming out of the ground right now that's like that, and I'm like, I'm just going to mow it over. I don't want them anymore. It takes up too much of my time.
The only thing I found that was good for was compost. I mean, I put them in the compost pile, and by the way, is the best dirt you can't buy it like that.
Yeah, so I'm I've got lots of those big dry leaves that need to go into my compost and all that stuff, because when they die, they leave their fronds, those big leaves on the ground, and I was very surprised that they were gone. But this past winter we had that really low temperature for a while. I guess it was at least a week, which was enough to kill a lot of things. But unhappily, it didn't kill all of the Japanese beetles that are now eating my apple tree.
Absolutely. Yeah, no fruit this year. We had an overabundance of peaches and pears and apples last year, but none. We've got none.
Really? Well, that's interesting, because I have no fruit on my peach trees or my apple tree, and I have some blueberries, but they're not nearly as much as I thought they'd be.
But I will say this: pruning is the way you have to go with all of those trees. And so in the past, we have 5 of the blueberry trees, and before they were just almost looked like little peas. They were tiny. So this year I pruned them the correct way, even though we had this bad weather, and they're about 4 times bigger than they've been ever. Wow. It's the pruning, because all the energy went into the fruit instead of the limbs and the leaves.
Yeah, the berries that I do have, they are, they are bigger than they ever were. And I've gotten some blackberries, the wild blackberries off, and they're double the size as they were before. So it does help to prune.
It does. We've got to call it a day. Can you believe how fast that show went?
Wow. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you for being on the show, and thank you so much for watching The Edge on IC Radio. I know you could be doing anything. You're watching us right now, so we definitely appreciate that. We'll call it a day, and we'll see you just a little bit later. I think I've twisted DeJoly's arm. She's going to be back for another segment, so y'all hang in there, okay?